Thacker and slasher movies, a genre of horror that many people are quite fond of. People are eager to see how high of a body count their favorite slasher will achieve. It's something that I'm sure at least a few people have pondered. What if there was a slasher cinematic universe? What if a bunch of our beloved slashers were in one big universe? Well, what if I told you there is a slasher cinematic universe? In fact, I managed to connect 6, technically 7, slasher franchises together. And the catalyst for this is one film. But what film is this? What film can lead to potentially 7 slasher franchises being one of the same? Well, that film is Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky is the 4th Chucky film released in 1998. This was the first Chucky film in 7 years. After the less than stellar results of Child's Play 3, and that mixed with the slasher genre slowly dying in the 90s, it made Chucky be put on ice. But then in 1996, Scream would stab its way in and save the day. Scream did refreshing, more slightly comedic, meta stab in the slasher genre. It shocked new life into the slasher genre that would pretty much save it. And 2 years later, following the Scream's more comedic and meta look, Bride of Chucky was released. And very early on in the film, we see something that connects 6 different slasher franchises together. The scene in question being very brief, but does briefly show a police evidence locker room, which includes Michael Myers' mask, Freddy Krueger's glove, Jason Voorhees' mask, and Leatherface's chainsaw. Of course, playing Chucky, Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all within one big bloody universe. Now just to clarify, I'm just counting these actual tangible objects that we see in the film. I'm not putting Hellraiser in this universe, even though it is referenced later in the film, because the ones mentioned previously feel a lot more concrete than that one. But with the Elm Street connection, we can connect another horror film franchise to this universe, that being The Evil Dead, and its Freddy's glove is previously in the background of that film. So now our slasher cinematic universe consists of Chucky, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Evil Dead. But now it's where things get a little bit complicated. Because in A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Evil Dead is seen played on a TV, which would mean that The Evil Dead is a movie within Nightmare on Elm Street. But in Evil Dead 2, Freddy's glove is in the background, which would mean that Nightmare on Elm Street and The Evil Dead are both movies referencing each other within the same universe. But we also see Freddy's glove in Bride of Chucky, meaning that Chucky, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Evil Dead are all movies in this same universe, which are all referencing each other. But if that's the case, then what movie are all these movies in? What film could possibly reference every single one of these films? Well, the answer might make you scream. Yep, throughout the Scream franchise, every single one of these movies is referenced. It's not only did Scream say the slasher genre, it made the slasher cinematic universe. So basically, Chucky, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Evil Dead are all movies in Scream. But to throw another bump in the road, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the 7th installment in the Elm Street franchise, released in 1994, is a film where the other Elm Street films are films. And as we've established, Nightmare is a film inside the Scream universe, meaning that New Nightmare takes place within the Scream universe and is not a film, but the other Elm Street films are films in that universe. I know, it's complicated. But nobody ever said cinematic universes were easy. But anyways, this is the slasher cinematic universe. Let me know in the comments below, are there any other horror films we can connect to this universe? Also, if you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribing. Bye guys for now, bye, it's Thacker.